Definitely, the chance of a lifetime. Here it is. Do you want it or not? I want it, and I want to take it with both hands and, knock him out and become world champion.
Definitely, I'm learning more about myself, how to be, as a fighter, as a person, coming out of the darkness, going into the light, and, being the man of the future and, improving all round as a fighter.
Fans asked Dubois to work on his self-belief, and he took the assignment extremely personally, taking his trash talk game to the very next level during his press conference with Anthony Joshua. It's fight week for their highly anticipated fight, and Daniel Dubois isn't just physically and mentally prepared. He's also verbally ready, as he's been firing verbal weapons at his fellow Brit ahead of their fight. While he spoke, he didn't give Anthony Joshua any chance at all, as he kept coming for the former world champion.
Call-outs for AJ. You've also been calling out Anthony Joshua for a while. For a long time, he was the top dog. Was that the call-out, or was there anything else in it?
Ultimately, he promised Anthony Joshua a funeral as he said to send him to the grave. Similar words were used by Jarrell Miller during a press conference with Anthony Joshua. Well, let's see if Dubois can bring his words to pass. But one thing clear for all to see is how confident and improved Daniel Dubois looks, and we can't help but ask if Anthony Joshua is truly ready for this challenge. As Daniel Dubois readies himself for this weekend's International Boxing Federation heavyweight title fight with Anthony Joshua, he tells Sky Sports that he's resurrected his career since his 2 losses and the criticism he's received along with them.
And now, I would have loved to win it on the night of my last fight, but, here we are. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and, we keep going.
For Dubois, that was adversity he had to get past, but he admits that it's not over as he has to go into the ring this Saturday and prove himself once again. In a meeting with Joshua, he reminisced about the period he was down and boldly claimed he was back up, and the whole thing is way deeper than his fight with Anthony Joshua. It's more than a fight, according to Daniel Dubois. It's about who's got the stronger will, who's conquered their demons best, and who has the drive to really move forward to the next level of their career.
That's just where I'm aiming for, to be the best, to fight the best and beat the best. And, AJ's been the king for a long time, and we all know he's been the king for a very long time.
Dubois said he'll be prepared to do whatever is necessary to come out on top in this fight, and that he won't be looking to edge the fight but rather dominate Joshua in a way that warrants a conclusive ending without mincing words. Dubois promised to knock Anthony Joshua out. That's his major aim. That's his plan, and that's his goal. According to him, he's putting his whole life on the line for this, and he's readying himself to become a powerful destroyer and conqueror at night.
I need to become a king slayer, and that's my goal, and that's the mission at hand, so I'm just ready to go.
The heart and will of Dubois have been questioned in the past when things have gotten tough and he's come up short, but that's something Dubois doesn't think will prove to be an issue at this point. Anthony Joshua faces Daniel Dubois for the International Boxing Federation heavyweight title on Saturday, with the Brits clashing at Wembley Stadium. Dubois has won 2 straight fights by stoppage since losing to Alexander Usyk a year ago, and he wants his confidence to show against one of the biggest British stars in boxing.
Doesn't really mean much because you've been underdog against Jarrell Miller and you were underdog against Filip Hrgović. How confident are you, Daniel, that you can get the job done September 21st?
The 26-year-old won the interim International Boxing Federation, built by stopping Filip Hrgović in June before being upgraded to official champion when Alexander Usyk vacated the regular title now. Dynamite defends the gold against former sparring partner Joshua 34 in one of his toughest tests yet, but Dubois will enter Wembley on the back of 2 major wins prior to his 8th-round stoppage of Hrgović. He scored a technical knockout of Jarrell Miller in the final seconds of their brutal battle in December. With those wins, Dubois bounced back from a stoppage loss to USYK in 2022 on that night in Poland. Dubois thought he had beaten the Ukrainian with a body shot, only for the punch to be ruled a low blow later in the fight. Usyk stopped Dubois with a jab.
Congratulations to Daniel for winning his last fight. I went out there to watch it live, and we're here now, and before I carry on, we have to give a shout out.
The way of that loss led to criticism of Dubois, who also came under fire in 2020 in his only other professional loss on that occasion against Joe Joyce. Dubois was also stopped by a jab, taking a knee, and failing to beat the referee's count. It was later revealed that the young Briton had suffered a fractured eye socket. Dubois showed further vulnerability in 2022 when he hit the ground 3 times in the first round against Kevin Lerena before winning via technical knockout in round 3. Dubois did, however, appear to be battling an injury in that fight.
Actually, His Excellency as well, because, he's brought me some unbelievable opportunities to fight. And this one is near enough topping it.
Going into the fight against Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois has downplayed the significance of past sparring sessions, stating that they occurred several years ago and were not relevant to the upcoming fight. I don't want to talk about no sparring or none of that. It happened 7 years ago, and to be honest, I can't recall.
Daniel Dubois. Is that correct?
For sure, a new man, resurrected my career, you know, coming out of darkness and I'm coming into the light.
He stressed that his focus is on the upcoming match, not past training experiences. The highly anticipated fight between Joshua and Dubois will be broadcast live on Sky Sports Box Office in DAZN. Joshua will be the favorite after spectacular efforts against Tyson Fury's former opponents. Otto Wallin and Francis both men took Fury to a hard-fought decision, while Joshua knocked out both men with ease. Dubois knows he has an uphill battle to keep his belt in hand. Only AJ's fourth career loss.
I fell down and I'm rising back up, and you know, we're just keeping this momentum going and keeping the darkness at bay and keeping positivity and, you know.
Pretty looking forward to the challenge and ushering in a new era of British heavyweight boxing. He said that's just where I'm shooting for, to fight the best and be the best. Age has been the king for a long time, and on the night I need to become a king slayer. And that's my goal. That's the mission at hand. I'm learning more about myself as a fighter, as a person coming out of the darkness and into the light, improving all around as a fighter, and as an athlete. I'm up for this and ready to go.
You know, go out there and fulfill what I know I can do, bring out what's in me, and win by any means necessary.
Anthony Joshua, 34, who has previously sparred with Dubois, knows him well and refuses to underestimate his chances of winning. Joshua, a former holder of the IBF title, reminisced about his training sessions with Dubois when the latter was part of the Great Britain squad. In an interview with Sky Sports, he recalled the sparring as intense but clarified that the rumors of being floored by Dubois were false, emphasizing that although Dubois landed a solid punch, he remained on his feet.
I mean, there's that old adage of sparring is sparring, but what were those spars like? Can you just shed a tiny little bit of light on them? I'm sure.
I knew Daniel from the GB squad. I just turned professional, but I stayed around the GB squad. I'd still train there, so we would spar good spars. And this whole conversation that you're trying to get at, he just cracked me with a good shot, but I stood on my feet. I don't know where this whole narrative that he turned my lights off came from. There were a lot of people that were in the gym that day of the week, and they've come out and said nothing happened. Joshua is determined not to be manhandled in their upcoming fight. He expressed confidence in his abilities, saying that he would not allow anyone to knock him out or dominate him in the ring, whether in sparring or an official fight.
They're trying to get. He just cracked me with a good shot. I stood on my feet. I don't know where this whole narrative of.
The rumors began mainly after Frank Warren told the story to the press when Dubois turned over as a pro with him in 2017. I first heard about Dynamite when I was told an 18-year-old lad had knocked out Anthony Joshua Warren in his exclusive column with TalkSport. This was in 2016, the same year AJ became a heavyweight world champion. Dubois was a boy, and he knocked out a man in Joshua, a 6'6" man at that.
I can tell you probably.
Was you there?
No, but I mean, what I can say is that started very much from their side on their team. Frank Warren and Daniel.
He hit me so hard that I went to the moon and came back. Joshua sarcastically remarked in an interview with Box Nation that a lot of people around that time were talking about how they did this and that to AJ in sparring. None of it is true. They were good spars. The boy can fight. I told you the boy can fight. That's why I can't underestimate him, because he is a serious competitor, he told Sky Sports. I'm not saying he has the chance to do it on September 21st, because sometimes what you say comes into existence.
Fighting the best version of Anthony Joshua that we've seen or not?
I don't know. I feel like his best days are maybe behind him or whatever.
But I won't let it happen, and I'll show you how talented I am, whether it's in the ring training or in the ring fighting. I won't let anyone manhandle me or try and knock me out. No way. The same year that the infamous Joshua Dubois spar took place, AJ won the International Boxing Federation heavyweight title from Charles Martin. Now 8 years on, he has the chance to reclaim the International Boxing Federation strap against Dubois.
And people have come out and said that, nah, nothing happened. But anyway, look, people say what they say. With me, there's always been like an inch that.
Joshua 283 beat his fellow Londoner. He will recapture the belt he first won against Charles Martin more than 8 years ago. Yet this is much more mature and considered Joshua than the ultra-confident wrecking machine who brushed Martin aside inside 2 rounds after dominating a long list of challengers. Joshua took some time to find his way after a stunning loss to Andy Ruiz back in 2019.
With Daniel Dubois.
So my emotions with this fight towards Daniel Dubois are based on a job, focusing, completing a mission.
He beat the Mexican-American in a return attempt to regain his unified heavyweight titles, but then lost them again to Alexander Usyk. A second defeat to Usyk triggered an outpouring of emotion from a clearly distressed Joshua, who wondered aloud why a fighter with his physical attributes couldn't beat the outstanding Ukrainian Joshua, was written off by many after that night in Saudi Arabia, but has slowly but surely turned the critics back into believers after boxing his way to a solid but safe decision over Jermaine Franklin. A frightening finish by Robert Helenius injected some life into Joshua's campaign to regain his heavyweight crown's calm. Last December, a composed dissection of a hesitant Ot Wallin was the ideal next step, and 3 months later boxing novice Francis Ngannou provided him with 2 rounds of target practice. Maybe a wiser Joshua has learned to appreciate his past successes, or perhaps Usyk's brilliant victory over Tyson Fury to claim the undisputed title ease his mind.
My tactics to showcase my skills, my toughness, my boxing IQ, my strength as well.
Well, whatever the reason, the 34-year-old seems to have come to terms with the fact that although he is far too suitable for the vast majority of giants, truly elite operators like Usyk and Fury will always pose serious problems. On September 21st, we will find out which tier Dubois his next opponent fits into, but Joshua will as usual enter the ring mentally prepared and agrees to that these days he is a different boxer, you can say, so always developing, always learning, he told Queensbury. I do look back at my old fights as well. At the end of the day, there were different types of opponents. I could have been beating a lot of less difficult opponents for many years. I could have been coming into my world title years now, but I've done it early. So what I'm trying to say is that when I'm fighting guys, it's hard to look unbelievable against someone that's basically on the same level as your world championship fights. They're 50. But I get it, people. They expect a lot. They want to see dominance.
Klitschko, will that bring back any good memories, even maybe a little bit of a confidence boost?
Yeah, well, definitely.
Carl Froch is split on this weekend's heavyweight title clash at Wembley Stadium that sees Daniel Dubois defend his International Boxing Federation bet against Anthony Joshua. The eagerly anticipated battle live on days and will see Joshua look to become champion for a 3rd time as he goes in with his countrymen. Both fighters entered the bout in impressive form, following numerous high-profile wins on their way to this point. Dubois upset the odds to stop Filip Hrgovic in June, while Joshua's last fight saw him stop Francis Ngannou into rounds. Froch, who has main evented Wembley Stadium when taking on George Groves in 2014, has had his say on one of the year's biggest fights. If I were going to have a large bet on it, I'd bet on AJ to win because that's the safe bet, but if I was getting good odds, I'd say Dubois by co-said Froch when chatting to Coin Poker. He's got that bit between his teeth. He's at the peak of this wave. He's had 2 excellent wins. I hope he doesn't drive himself insane and put too much pressure on himself.
Progress their career. Should it be for a world title? We'll come on to that in a minute. Let's talk about the fight. Anthony Joshua, a beaten heavyweight at world level. He lost to Andy Ruiz and he lost to Usyk twice. And he's still climbing now, still rebuilding and great. It's good that he's got ambition.
Attempt to try and improve their career should it be for a world title. We'll come on to that in a minute. Let's talk about the fight. Anthony Joshua, a beaten heavyweight at world level, obviously lost to Andy Ruiz, and he lost to Usyk twice. And he's still climbing now, still rebuilding, and great. It's good that he's got drive.
That's gonna be awesome, man. Anthony Joshua, very happy for him after, his last 4 performances. Staying busy is what made a big difference. Activity got his confidence up, not fighting often and going into a immediate rematch right after his loss.
Prediction-wise, you can't say that AJ's got the chin built to take a punch off Dubois because Dubois and Bang Froch at it at the minute. I can't separate them, but the smart money is on Anthony Joshua to beat him because Dubois is quite easy to hit. He gets hit with big shots. I think Dubois is going to feel the heat when the spotlights hit him ahead of Joshua Dubois. Robert Garcia, who previously trained AJ, had his say on the upcoming heavyweight clash when chatting to Boxing King Media. Joshua spent time under the tutelage of renowned trainer Robert Garcia, and Garcia has had his say on Joshua Dubois when speaking to Boxing King Media. It is a close fight because we can't underestimate a world champion. Nobody can. Nobody should give his prediction for the heavyweight clash on September 21st, Garcia said.
Either on points or by late stoppage. But don't write off Dubois. He's got a big punch, big heavy punch, and he's going to come for AJ. He's going to stick it on him, and anybody sticks it on AJ, we don't know how he's going to.
But for me personally, I think the activity and the confidence he built in his last 4 fights are enough to turn it into an easy fight. Joshua wins comfortably, and I believe he wins by knockout. As Anthony Joshua faces Daniel Dubois this weekend, a supercomputer has predicted a knockout. DDD puts his IBF heavyweight title on the line when he faces the hard-hitting AJ at Wembley Stadium on Saturday, September 21st, with both men eyeing a shot at undisputed greatness should they achieve victory in the squared circle.
If Dubois goes for him, he's full of confidence before the fight and he believes in himself, there could be an upset, but the upset would be AJ losing.
Dubois won the Interim International Boxing Federation belt back in June after stopping Filip Hrgovic in the 8th round of their scrap in Saudi Arabia. The title soon after was upgraded after undisputed Alexander Usyk relinquished his own belt, and Dubois will hope to fight the undefeated Ukrainian or Tyson Fury should he achieve victory over AJ this weekend depending on the result of their heavyweight showdown for all the marbles in December. DDD goes into the fight with a respectable 21-0 record with 20 career knockouts to his name and will no doubt be looking to bolster his head count when he faces Joshua. AJ, on the other hand, has a stellar record of 28-3 with 25 knockouts, including his most recent second-round starching of former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in March this year, and a supercomputer has predicted that AJ will reign supreme at a capacity Wembley Stadium come Saturday, giving him a 77.8% chance of winning by any means.
He lost to Alexander Usyk. He had Usyk down, didn't he, with that mid-drift blow? Was it low? Was it on the belt? But these are two guys here which have already been beaten by Alexander Usyk, the actual bona fide, undisputed world champion. So,
despite an impressive career to date, the same supercomputer from Grove Sport gives Dubois a mere 20% chance of winning the fight, whereas a draw sits on a slender 385% chance. The computer also says that Joshua has a 69% chance of getting a knockout, TKO, or disqualification win to Dubois' 15% chance, while AJ has a 15% chance to win on points to Dubois' 11.8%. The top bit of tech also predicts that the fight has just a 26.7% chance of going the distance when the two heavyweight giants throw leather this weekend, much to the delight of knockout fans who will be watching worldwide.
This fight's great, and I think AJ probably beats him on experience, gets behind his jab early doors, outboxes Dubois, keeps out of his way, keeps out of harm's way. If he doesn't get clipped, this is Anthony Joshua I'm talking about, I think he'll take over and he'll beat Dubois.
It's a little surprise a knockout has been expected given both men's records. Joshua has 25 knockouts from his 28 wins, and his last 3 fights have not gone the distance. Dubois also has a stunning knockout record, with 20 out of his 21 victories. Furthermore, both men have suffered knockout losses, with Andy Ruiz stopping AJ, Dubois losing via TKO to Joe Joyce and Usyk. From their combined 53 outings, only 6 contests have heard the final bell, so fight fans can expect an explosive encounter this Saturday night. The undercard is impressive, including Anthony Kakachi versus Josh Warrington, while Liam Gallagher will also be performing, with the entire event available on DAZN PPV, TNT Sports PPV, PV.com, and Sky Sports Box Office. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news moments, events, and actions in the world of box, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.